welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading for Everdell. So Everdell has something very similar to a sort of a flavor text, if you will, for these games. Each one of these games has a flavor text, and some are big and some are smaller than others. And they're each a little bit different, and it kind of gives you a feel for the game as well, which is kind of nice. And I did all the flavor texts for Dominion. I enjoyed doing those, so I thought I'd also sort of do a flavor text for all of these as well, and read aloud the story, basically, of Everdell. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first one, and the first one is actually got a title. It's called Tale of the Standing Stones. So, let me get started. Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Long ago and far away in the land of Gildan, a young mouse gazed at distant mountains and wondered what lay beyond. His was a life of hardship and turmoil, as was true for many a critter during those darker times. There was nary a drop of honey or nibble of blueberry to be found, as any and every available provision had been used in the Serpent War, when brave critters gathered together to fend off the serpents of the northern wilds. There, among the poverty and desolation, sat a mouse, driven by dreams of hope. Corin Everdell was his name. His father, a brave warrior, had lost his life to the war. With the news of his father's death, Corin's mother passed away soon after, leaving Corin an orphan on the dark streets of the port city of Stormwillow. Many were his adventures and narrow escapes during those formidable years of his youth, but quick thinking and iron will, and not a small amount of providence, saw him through. He remembered dreams of better lands beyond distant mountains. He knew that such a journey could very well be the death of him, but there was no future for him in Stormwillow. The time had come. Of his few friends, he could convince 3 to travel with him. Together, they set out on a cold, green sprout morning, wanderers seeking a land they were not sure even existed. Many a story has been told of that long journey through dune-waste desert and over the Spire-crest mountains. It was a harrowing adventure that lasted for 9 months and ultimately claimed the life of Corin's dearest friend. But when the thread of hope that had pulled them through was at its thinnest, on the 19th day of Hope Watch, the adventurers crested a final peak and beheld the wonder that they had been seeking. The sun was delighted that day as it broke apart the dark clouds that had frowned for so long, and shone its light upon the glorious Emerald Valley below. It was a land unspoiled by the stains of war and untouched by the devastation of greed. After exploring the valley for many weeks, Corin and his companions finally settled among the roots of what would one day be the monument of hope we know as the Evertree. He declared the valley to be Everdell, spoke a blessing upon it. Almost immediately after establishing a place to rest his head, Corin set about erecting a monument to commemorate and to never forget the journey that was made to discover this sacred place. They raised up 9 white stones, each representing a month of their journey. Into these stones, they carved memories, they carved hopes and dreams, and finally, a challenge for all of us who now enjoy such peace and comfort in our beloved realm. These are the words of Corin Everdell, etched into that stone and spoken now for us to never forget. There is no sorrow too black for hope, Even midnight gives way to the morning. Seize the day and make it seen. Let your bell ring forever loud and true. Now go into the world, and let your life be a standing stone that will encourage and inspire others for many seasons to come. So that's the first flavor text for the base game of Everdell. And so for the next one would be the expansion that came out after that, which is Everdell Pearlbrook. So, if you're still listening, I'll go ahead and read that one next. It's a lot more short, so it's shorter than the first one. So let's get a close-up on that. We didn't always know about the river. When we first made our camp at the base of the Evertree, we stayed close, still visitors in this strange land. As the weeks went on, we ranged further out, clearing trails through the thick undergrowth that ringed the valley. I began to chart out this small domain we were shaping, mapping the valley from a raised outcropping to the east. The dense tree line to the west kept the land beyond in mystery, and though I climbed as far as my paws would take me, I could not clear the trees. So we formed a party to clear a path and discover more of the valley that had become our home. 3 days into our ranging, the rains came. For days it fell upon us in stinging sheets, turning the earth to mud under our paws. It was slow going, as our fur was heavy and damp. On the 9th day, the first clear day, we finally broke the tree line and found ourselves looking down at a winding, swollen river. We yelped with excitement and rushed to the banks, lowering our mouths to the clear water and drinking deeply. And then I saw it. Something moving in the water, not far from where I knelt. I watched transfixed as a spindly pink hand reached for a rock, followed by the strangest head I have ever seen, with feathery spines and a smooth pink body. We watched each other in nervous curiosity for several moments before the creature dove back into the water with a flourish, but not before he pulled something from his small pack and tossed it my way, where it landed with a splash. When I rose and gazed down through the clear water, there at my feet lay a perfect, shining pearl. And so that's the flavor text for Everdell Pearlbrook as well. And so that's kind of interesting. I liked that one too. Obviously, he met in Azulto for the first time. So that was a good one. And we'll do the next flavor text in the next video.